I honestly don't know what to tell you. None of this is scripted. None of this is. I'm just, I'm just tired. I'm tired, and this world has become so idiotic. And whatever you say, whatever opinion you have, which goes against the mainstream or these idiots. They just call you racist, they call you homophobic, transphobic, whatever. I've been called every single possible term under the sun. I've been called that. This was my my post, let's call it like that, like a quote which I made. In spirit of June, which is the 6th month, and sadly nowadays characterized by 6 colors of the rainbow, I stand indeed offended, because the actual rainbow has 7 visible colors, not 6, and the indigo children have been completely removed from this whole movement of acceptance. Me being one of the indigo children, I'm directly affected by this terrible, heartless change, a sinister omission that... Yeah. This is how I would most definitely sound if I were one of the fragile people who would seek to turn every possible situation into a terrifying situation where these people stand as poor and defenseless victims. For victim mentality is not appealing, and it is not healthy in the least. Not to anyone. To me, June will always be a Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. However, whenever your so-called negative mental conditions or illnesses are selective in their appearance and are manifesting themselves when you need to work, then you have no illnesses. You are just a lazy asshole. And tell me, that's the post, tell me, what did I say that was untrue or wrong? Give me some sort of argument. Tell me what did I say wrong? What is wrong in this entire post? Well, I got a response from someone named Rose Velvet Golds with a Z at the end. It says like this: I'm 14 and this is deep. Quote. Also, if this is something to do against Pride Month or vice versa, think you've forgotten that the LGBT community is a very reassuring and inclusive community which has been tainted as bad people via misinformation, religious comfortability, stereotyping, etc. Should be also noted that there are other holiday months, days that coincide with other months' day. So if you want to celebrate Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, it is not getting overshadowed by Pride Month. But seeing your post, you're definitely a white guy who might need a bit of studying or something. Have a great day regardless. So what, Valentine's Day can coincide with some other day in my culture? Christmas coincides with some other day in my culture? These people are retarded. These people are idiots. Stupid. And yeah, very reassuring and inclusive community, which automatically, whoever this person is says, you're definitely a white guy. My response was, my 38 years of lived experience beats your 14 years of lived experience any day of the year. Reassuring and inclusive community it is not. It is very toxic and prone to violence, which I had experienced, and I met gays and lesbians who just avoid them because they too had experienced violence, if you're not 1000% on board with their ideology. I have a lesbian friend, and I have no quarrel against people of different sexualities, but I do have much against people who indoctrinate children with lies, gender ideology, identity politics, and other kinds of crap. No misinformation tainted my view of MMIWG2 SLGBTQQIA+, which has nothing to do with inclusivity but with control. I'm sorry, I support gay people and lesbian people. Everything else is pure BS of left woke propaganda machine. I am a white guy, and you have just proven my point. The agenda is real, and the indoctrination is quite real as well. You too have a good life, and I hope that you will find help and move away from this toxic ideology. Stay away from religion as well, because that is just another form of indoctrination. I have studied more than enough, and I have my facts straight. You should do that as well. Enjoy whatever you want in life, but pride is not for me, and I see it as a glorification of mental illnesses and a display of utter shame which masquerades as pride. The response was... The fact you think I'm 14 is so hilarious. Like, that means you're an adult man. You're better than this. This comment feels so white guy coded, cause they're the most problematic people. Every white guy always belittles everyone who isn't a white guy. A queer person? A white guy tries to take away their rights. A black person. A white guy tries to bring back slavery, etc. Also, the fact you're censoring gay, lesbian, and LGBTQ is so funny. And the fact you're trying to defend that you're supportive of them, but went back to right-wing nonsense. Hope to see you in 10 years when you're a trans woman, buddy. Think a little bit of therapy and estrogen might make you realize things after all. I mean, do you hear this? Do you hear this? This response? Tells you 14, then tells you, oh, just because you think that, or because you censor words. Yeah. Usually if you don't censor those words, you're blocked. You're blocked. Or they delete your comments. That's how it goes, because they're all pandering to them. And he says LGBTQ was like censored. It wasn't. It's just the whole, all of it. Now it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 symbols. One plus symbol and one number. What the fuck? And then they just block you. They block you. They don't let you respond. But I managed to respond to the other comment. So it says like this. You wrote in the comment that you're 14. You prove my point once again. This ideology messes with your mind. It makes you think that you have a gotcha moment. But in reality, gotcha moments have you. Problematic people. Who? Me? Because I'm white? There you go. You prove my point again. How that ideology is not inclusive. It is violent, full of hate, and especially hate towards those who have nothing to do with your grievances. I never belittle the person of a different color. I have photo shoots of people here of different race, and I never once looked down upon them, and I always respected all those who respected me. I dated a Thai girl who was very much dark, and a Chinese girl who was very much pale. I have no issue with color, and I have no issue with people of other sexual orientations, as long as they are not forcing me to accept something that goes against me. The same goes with religion. I am Slavensky. My people were considered slaves a long time ago by many, and my people have it in their name, slaves, Slavs. White men did not invent slavery. African people had African slaves. Asian people had Asian slaves way before the American slavery. And African warlords traded their slaves for goods. And that is just the way it was. You can be mad about that all you want, but it will not change a fact that every race owned slaves in some point in history. I'm not a right-winger, and the censored word is a reflex because YouTube deletes comments with uncensored words. There you go, you prove my point again, and you have nothing to say but police my writing. You're not a moral vertical, and neither are those of right wing or left wing, because the whole bird is rotten. You pose yourselves as tolerant and reasonable, but you shun tolerance. You favor violence, and you embrace delusion instead of reason, and whenever you hear something that you do not like, you call it right-wing nonsense. My best friend is a leftist, and even he shuns some of the stances that are far too extreme. And to the left, to them he is also far right, because they have gone so far left that anything they deem unworthy is considered as right-wing ideology. I do not need hormone replacements. I'm comfortable in my body, and I'm happy with my physique. Thank you very much. Calm your fury and educate yourself on the real world and think for yourself. Read a good book, like At the Mountains of Madness or Call of Cthulhu. Yeah, and yep. They block you when you have nothing solid or tangible to say. They block you when they have nothing solid or tangible to say or present. To them, you're just an enemy, a white guy who must be destroyed. Damn, this world has really gone to shit with these delusional people. They're all the same, they have no arguments, and they are just racist, case in point, in the comments, and are perpetually trapped in the state of victimhood, and they cannot see anything other than their own victim state, and they project. Oh, they constantly project. I will never associate myself with any of these extremists. They're the trash of the world, nothing more. I met people here in my country who were like progressive and they're for gay rights and pride and so on. They look at me as if though I was sick, as though there was something wrong with me. They said, your words are hurtful. The way you talk, it's hurting everyone around. You're teaching children violence. Get out of here. I saw them. I literally saw them being violent. When you tried to stop them and said, nah, this is how I am. This is how I am. Don't try to change me. They don't see themselves. They don't see themselves. They're... It's just... wow. It hurts even to speak about them. Because they're not tolerant. They're not for equality. Equality is a myth. In feminist circles, in LGBTQ circles, all of it is a myth. They don't want equality. They want supremacy. They want control. They want power to police your words, to police your sexuality, and to present themselves as something that is normal. Sorry, it is not normal. Everything that goes against nature is not normal. You can never, you can't win with them. And someone needs to call out this bullshit. Someone needs to call them out. Because they're trash. They're bullshitters. I'm not saying all of them, but many of them. They say vocal minority. I'm sorry, but 100,000 people is not a vocal minority. It's not a minority. One degenerate is too much. And we need to stop people like these, who will use violence, who will kill you because you're not agreeing with them. They will destroy you if you're not agreeing with them. They need to be stopped. There has to be a law that prevents them from destroying normal people. I've never made a rant like this or video like this, and this is actually the first one I made, and it's exhausting to talk about them. It's exhausting, but I'm angry. I'm angry at their stupidity. I'm angry that they call all of us stupid. I'm angry because of their violence. And they find every single reason and every single, like, something to justify their stupidity and violence. And the worst thing is, if you try to defend yourself from them, then you're a bigot, you're a racist, you're this and that. They have all those words. They change the terms, they change the terms of the words, they change everything to fit their own sick agenda. And the agenda is real. It is quite real. We can see that in cinema as well. And just the fact that YouTubers are beating Star Wars in the theaters, beating Hollywood in theaters, says it all. People are tired of that woke bullshit. They're tired of this whole politics thing. We don't want that. People have spoken. Majority of people don't want that BS. And the majority of people does not support that BS. And this BS needs to stop completely.